Hey blessed ones, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about faith that isn't easy, but it's always worth it. We've seen all the quotes. They're all over Instagram, they're printed on coffee mugs and shared in every inspirational group. They say things like, just have faith or keep believing, it's all gonna work out. And in those moments when things are going well, those words feel so light, they feel easy. But if we're being honest with each other today, real faith doesn't feel like a sunset on a beach. Sometimes it feels like a cold, dark room where you can't find a light switch. It feels like a knot in your stomach when the bank account is low or the doctor's call just hasn't come. Or when your dream that you've been dreaming of feels further than it did 5 years ago. Today, I want to talk about the side of faith we don't post on social media. The side that is messy, exhausting, and incredibly difficult. Because the truth is, faith isn't easy, but it is without a doubt always worth it. First, we have to debunk a huge lie. The lie that faith is the absence of doubt. Many of us feel like failures because we're scared. We think, if we really had faith, I wouldn't be crying right now. I wouldn't be laying awake at 3 a.m. wondering if I'm making a huge mistake. But let's get one thing straight. If you were 100% certain of the outcome, you wouldn't need faith. You'd just have a plan. You'd have a receipt. Faith, by in its very definition, requires a gap. It's the gap between your current reality and the promise of something better. Faith is the bridge you build across that gap. And building a bridge while it's windy, blowing, and the rain is hitting your face is very hard. It's manual labor, literally for your soul. If you're struggling today and it doesn't mean your faith is shaky or it's weak, I just need you to understand that it means that your faith is real. You are in an arena that you're fighting for your peace, and that friction you feel, baby, that's growth. Every journey has 3 parts: the beginning, the middle, and the end. The beginning is always great. It feels like it's full of hope. If you have a new project, there's a new project energy. You may feel inspired. And the end is glorious. That's where you get your testimony. That's where the celebration happens. But the worth it part of faith is the part where you're tested, right in the middle. The middle is where the silence, it really lives. It's the period of time where the initial excitement has worn off, but the results, they just haven't shown yet. This is where most people get quiet, in the middle. You start to look at your neighbors, you see people doing much better than you, and you start to feel like, hey, why are they getting the promotions, the relationships, and the breakthroughs? You start to ask, is this even worth it? Doesn't even matter that I'm staying positive or I stayed the course. I want to speak to the person in the middle right now. Maybe you're in a season of waiting. Maybe you're in a season of grieving. To you, faith feels like a heavy backpack. You're tired of carrying it. I want you to know that the silence you're hearing is not absence. Just because you don't see the movement doesn't mean it isn't progress. Some of the most important work a tree does happens underground in the winter when no one can see it. And you are currently growing your roots. So, why is it worth it? Why should we not just give up and be realistic or cynical? Because faith is a refining fire. Think about gold. Gold is beautiful, but it has to be put under that pressure to get to the shining state. It has to go through intensive heat, the heat that burns away all the impurities. And that's the same way that our life is. The struggle of faith, that's not the easy part. It's what's burning away our arrogance. It burns away the need to control everything. It burns away our shallow attachment to things that don't actually matter. When you go through a season where all you have is faith, you discover that faith is actually all you ever needed. You find a version of yourself that is resilient. You realize that you're stronger than your circumstances. Because if life was always going to be easy, you would just be fragile. You would break at every first sight of trouble. But because you've been fighting for so long, you had to fight to believe. And because you've been clinging to hope for so long, that's when you started to realize not clinging to that hope made no sense. It's when you become the person who can walk through the storm and not be swept away by it. That version of you, the refined you, is worth every single tear you're going to shed in the dark. So how do we actually do it? How do we keep going when the word feels like it's so distant, like a past memory? Here are the 3 things I want you to remember on the days when faith feels impossible. Number 1, lower your expectations of how faith should look. You don't need to be shouting from the mountaintops every day. Sometimes faith is just waking up, making your bed, and saying, I'm going to try again today. That's it. That counts. Number 2, look at your track record. Think back to about 5 years ago. Think about the times where you were devastated or you were terrified. Because back then, you probably thought you'd never get through that either. But look at you now. You survived. You adapted. You're still standing. Your track record is only going to go from the impossible days to the greatest days at 100%. So don't bet against yourself now. Number 3, surround yourself with believing mirrors. When your own faith is low, you need people around you who can hold it for you. You need friends who are going to remind you everything that you've forgotten. Don't try to be a lone ranger in the dark. Reach out. And I want to leave this thought with you. There is a depth of peace that only comes after a struggle. There's a kind of joy that only people who have known deep sorrow can truly feel. If you're struggling right now because you don't perhaps understand the faith season that you're going through, I don't want you to make the mistake to take the signs of difficulties for the sign to seem like it's the wrong path. Because oftentimes, the greatest resistance comes right before the greatest breakthrough. Now, faith isn't a magic wand, and that is not going to make your problems just magically disappear. No, it's not. But it is a light that shows you the way through the problems. It's the inner conviction that you get when you're not alone. And that's what makes life's journey more livable. It makes the story more interesting. So here's what I need you to do. Take a deep breath. And forgive yourself for being tired. And get ready to take your next steps, because it's not going to be easy, and it's going to be one of the hardest things you ever had to do. But I promise you this, when you look back from the finish line, you will see that every moment that you struggle and you were building, it came out to be something so beautiful in you. And it's always, always worth it. So thanks for being here, and thanks for listening to me today. If you see this video and you like what I had to say, don't forget to subscribe and click the like button. Also, share this video with your friends. Have a great day.